This morning, I had a choice whether to jump on a webinar and participate live at 7 o'clock in the morning, or I could go to a local Chamber of Commerce event, which was coffees, and it was just up the road from me. What do you think I ended up picking? All right, I did end up picking the local coffee event, but look, I am pretty average, to be honest, at getting out within Brisbane, which might be surprising, but I do a lot of connecting when I travel, when I go overseas, online. I like to connect with peers and join online communities and things like that. But I'm actually really terrible at getting out and about, particularly because a lot of the events that are on are usually on after hours, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And honestly, I'd rather just be at home and go to bed early and wake up early. So this was great because it was local, like the friction was low, and it was 7 o'clock in the morning, which means it's a great time. I'm up already. I've done a bunch of stuff by then. So I weaned myself away and I can watch this webinar recording later, right? And you never know what the value is of going to these things. And is it really even worth going for the value or just going to just connect with people? I had a fantastic time. I had a really great time. I was there for an hour. I had to come back because I needed to jump on a call. But for the time that I was there, it was great. Met a ton of different people. Saw my physio there, Naren. We're talking about him scaling a physio practice, particularly when people are attracted to you. They want you to be their physio, but obviously you can't scale that. So how do you get your team prepared? He's got a lot of great strategies on that as well. I met Sean from an earth moving parts company. Interesting, talking about different markets across different states, have different markets and different demands from time to time. So it's a nice way to diversify an organization. I met Richard, who is from Hong Kong originally, lived in WA for 15 years and is an immigration lawyer, also now getting into commercial law, as well as Tracy, a website designer. And she was talking about how she designs some websites for restaurants, because something that I shared with her is that I just find it fascinating how a lot of local restaurants don't even have a website. They have a Facebook page, but sometimes you can't even access their menu. And so she was sharing some work she did with a local restaurant, helping them take orders online and do everything that way rather than go through Uber, because of the amount of money that Uber takes from restaurant owners is huge. And we were just sort of talking at this cafe, also just sharing the price of operating a restaurant. I admire anyone that dares to go into that industry. The lease, I would imagine, even at the place that we're at, I would say would be at least 30 to 50K a year. So, right, you're dealing with that. Then you've got staffing, power. They had about 4 or 5 staff members on. You're selling coffee at $5 a cup. I don't know how the math works on this. So, a website I would imagine is core, plus a strong social media presence and some, what are you doing to attract people there every day? Anyway, that's on a side note. The other person I met that was fascinating was our local member of parliament. Now, his name is Milton Dick MP. And why this is so interesting is that Milton Dick is also the Speaker for the House of Representatives in Australia, for this Australian Parliament. So my local member is the guy that is trying to keep all the politicians in check when they come in for question time at Parliament House. So I had a few questions for him. I also took along 3 copies of my book just for fun. I wasn't even thinking of giving them away, but I gave Milton a book. He wanted me to sign it, which was lovely. And I was just asking questions around how do you keep politicians in line? I don't know if you watch Question Time. So what Question Time is, it's an hour that they show kind of live, where they basically debate different things. The 2 different parties debate. They've got independents also there, but it can get quite heated. It's quite comical. Geekily enough, when I was in high school, I would love watching repeats and replays of Question Time, because those were the golden years. We had people like John Howard, Peter Costello in there. Paul Keating was in there from the Labor. It's just growing up, seeing those people debate and have conversations. Kim Beazley had some presence. It's just kind of fun. I haven't actually been watching Question Time recently. I'm more interested in American politics right now. It's playing out like reality TV, not from a political standpoint, but just from pure whoa, what is going on here? So I haven't really been watching Question Time. But Milton, I was asking him a ton of questions around what is it like to have to rein in speakers and things like that. He loves storytelling. He just shared what his childhood was like. His dad had quite a few butcher shops and was always around just treating people with respect. Didn't matter if someone just ordered a rump steak or someone came in with a bigger order. And so he went in to Parliament, and I believe he kind of said this up front in terms of how he wanted to approach this, is he wanted to make sure that everyone in that room treated each other with respect. Something that he shared with me is around the use of language as well, because I really don't like it when someone attacks a person, like calls them stupid. He says, call the idea stupid, but do not attack the person. Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, you want to create an environment where ideas are definitely debated in a robust way. Yes, that can get heated, but it's not about attacking the person and making it personal. It's around having that idea, that plan. That is what you're critiquing as well. So he really leads with that, trying to create that respect by treating everyone in that room with respect. He said he really doesn't want to throw anyone out of the room. I think he's, I should have Googled this. I think he has a couple of times, but that would have been the last straw. What he said to me is that you've got 151 members of parliament sitting in there, and they're representing 27 million Australians. So what he said to me is, when you kick someone out, what you're losing is 178,000 voices in terms of who they represent. I asked him around virtual workshops as well. I said, could you run question time on a Zoom call? And he said, oh, we did do a couple of those during COVID. What's been interesting now since COVID is that a lot of the parliamentary committee meetings are held via Zoom to save costs primarily. So it's good to hear that the government and parliament are using these tools and the technology to do that, because I didn't actually know that. It was a really nice morning. I'm really happy that I went. I got a photo with Milton and my book, of course. And he was like, the support was really nice. Like, oh, I want to buy this of you. And he got me to sign it and things like that. So I think he's in the right role. Sean, who was there, asked him, why did you get into politics? And Milton shared that it wasn't really a thing that he had strived for. Like, he didn't even know the way, like, what his parents voted when he was a kid, but he just wanted to be of service to the community. And he said, look, there are parts of this job that are really tough, but there's absolutely parts that he loves. And it's really around focusing on the parts that he loves and also being immune to criticism, because that's just part of the job. I asked him, and this is the final thing I'll share with you, what it was like in terms of being a politician in 2025 with all the scrutiny now, because you're always on social media and things like that. And he said, I 100% believe that we as politicians, our whole lives should be scrutinized. Awesome to hear that. So it doesn't matter what political persuasion you are. It's nice to know the person behind the role and behind the party that they represent. And so it was really nice to jump out there and learn a bit. Awesome. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.